Hello and welcome everyone. Tanya here with New Earth Consciousness and the lovely Helen Plehn. Helen is
Thank you.
Helen is an author, a spiritual teacher. She is an artist. She has written the book called The Aura Color Wheel, which we're going to dive into today in our conversation. Helen, I'm so excited to have you on the show and just have people experience your energy and your spirit. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for the synchronicity that you brought me on your show. I'm honored.
Yeah, excellent. So, and anybody that's watching this, feel free to type in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're just gonna have a free flow conversation. Now, Helen, when you and I first met, we had our first conversation together. You initially were not involved with any art,
Or
spirituality, like
spirituality.
anything, like you were in a totally left brain world. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So basically it for the long story short, I for the Helen 1.0, that's how I call it now.
Uh-huh.
It was living with their parents and society expectations because I was born and raised in China. So I was expecting to just go to PhDs straight without thinking too much of what I really want to do in my life. So the proper, occupation will be doctors, lawyers, dentists, you name it, professor. So up until 2011, I was just a PhD student, almost graduating in business school. And however, that's when I hit my first breakthrough because I had really bad anxiety and depression because I wasn't doing what my soul was born to do. So that's Helen 1.0. I was doing a lot of data crunching. I published academic papers. If you know it, it's all about statistics and data. It's very right brain. It has nothing to do with intuition, not much to do with intuition and psychic abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, like, to me, like, me imagining you being involved in that kind of work, I'm just like, "Wow," like, this is incredible. I mean, to me, this is such a testimonial to the fact that no matter what your circumstances were or whatever you were brought up in terms of expectations, beliefs, programming. I mean, I'm sure your parents were coming from a loving place. They were just,
Yeah.
there's all this conditioning. And yeah, and oftentimes that conditioning can cause us to literally start to have physical symptoms like you were explaining. So the anxiety. So like, how did you even begin to discover that there was this whole other Helen that wanted to be expressed?
Yeah, it's so interesting that you actually mention that when you are not doing what your soul is supposed to do, you experience either physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual symptoms. Like that's exactly what I actually wrote in the book. So if you're not in alignment, you can do self-diagnose. Oh, something is missing. And if you don't make any changes, you just keep pushing forward, those symptoms can go to an extreme. For example, I actually went to a psychiatric ER because of panic attacks. So
Mhm.
that's like the extreme. And some people experience cancer. It's another extreme form of not doing what their soul is supposed to do.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like, okay, that ER visit is really, good enough of a pause button that I really need to rethink how can I be happy. So I asked 3 questions at the time after the ER visit. I asked, who am I? Why am I really here? And how can I really be happy? So with those 3 questions in mind, I quit my PhD. I took 1 year off to do a self-discovery journey and self-healing. So I did my first yoga teacher and meditation teacher training. Also did Ayurveda training, so alongside with the yoga meditation. And I still remember to this day, it's the first time that I did a meditation within a group. I was sobbing like a baby. The whole
Mm.
time I knew that something bigger was holding me the whole time. I was just crying. I was so moved. And I never experienced that at all. Now, I actually, that was probably my first meditation experience also. I haven't really meditated for my whole life. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is golden. So I wanted to go back to that peace. I want to go back to that unconditioned low love that I felt. And that formed me a daily meditation practice. And I was joking to my friends and family at the time that my meditation becomes my medication. Because after 3 months of daily meditation, I was off any anxiety and depression meds. I was prescribed on meds after the ER visit, and 3 months, every single day, I need to do it because otherwise I feel something's missing. I want to go back to that quiet place. So meditation is the key. And I kept doing it until this day. It's been 13 or 14 years now, since 2011. And throughout the whole journey, I also pick up on crystal healing, because like when I'm meditating more and more, I feel tuned into the energy field, the quantum field more and more. And I think it's about 7 years in 2019, I had my Kundalini awakening. So that was I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know what that was. So it wasn't like I didn't meditate to have a goal to achieve Kundalini awakening.
Yeah.
It just happened, and I began to see energy and spirit. My third eye began to wide open. So I tune into the realm of angels, spirit guides, animals, star beings, ancestors. So it's all basically anything in a different frequency. I was able to perceive it through my third eye. So that's a whole world of change for me.
Wow. Wow. And I want to point out what I find really interesting is when you decided, like, okay, obviously something's off kilter. I'm just going to take a break.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
didn't sound to me like you had necessarily a clear-cut plan of like, okay, well, if I'm not going to do my PhD, what am I going to do instead? Instead,
Oh,
you're just
yes.
like, all I know is I got to quit my PhD and just take a year. And to me, that kind of points towards this truth about, I guess, the creative energy that lives within us, that spiritual energy. And sometimes when the mind or the mental energy overrides
Mm-hmm.
that innate that connection with your soul, like sometimes it's like, wow, yeah. So I just want to point that out to those
Yeah.
listening, like how important it is sometimes to not get caught up when you know that something's not in alignment, to not get caught up in like, oh my gosh, then I need to figure out what I'm going to do next and all the steps. I have to have a plan in place. Because oftentimes when we surrender and let go, that gives an opportunity for the divine
Yes.
to meet us and support us and guide us. There is a co-creative relationship with the divine. And that's what I see what in your story is like, okay, well, I just started meditating. I just kind of followed my intuition of like, okay, yeah, if something's out of balance, I'm going to do this Ayurveda training. Oh, meditations for inner peace. Like, and then over time with that practice, you had this huge awakening, which revealed your actual true soul purpose, which is what you're doing now, right?
Right, exactly. And actually, this oracular wheel self-discovery system was born out through this self-discovery journey. Now, I do think the divine feminine I was leaning to, because my whole life it's masculine energy, right? You plan, you achieve, you conquer. That's like the masculine energy all the way through in modern society. You know, you have all the plan laid out in front of you, bright future. However, as you mentioned, just exactly what you pointed out, it's a balance between the feminine and the masculine. So I let the divine feminine energy simmer in me. And professionally, I actually went back to school to do architecture and interior design. At the time, that was Helen 2.0. So the semi plan is that I am doing something more creative, and that's actually what I wanted to do when I was a child. Like, I wanted to become an architect. So I know that in the US at the time I was in California, I need a license to practice and all of that. There was some logistics around it, but I was much happier because I was doing something much more creative rather than, more, data or analytics. Although I can handle that, but it doesn't mean that, I love it.
You're right.
Exactly. So I kind of like, have spiritual practice is always in the back, on my daily life. But like professionally, I was gradually transition into interior design. And the funny thing is, what happened, miracle happens if you trust and take that courage. I would say the leap of faith, right? It's almost like a leap of faith. I have no idea what I'm going to do. But yeah, I started to do architecture and interior design, but that doesn't guarantee you'll have a stable income whatsoever, right? But then I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. But I don't want to work in corporate. I was doing an internship. I know that I'm not designed for that. So I want to have my own business. And sorry. And I also, doggies. And I also pick up my connection with my father. He was the second generation Fengshui master, and my grandma was the first one. So I just pick up the practice that I was living and breathing all the time, since my childhood. And I founded my first company at the time. And the funny thing, you see, when you take that leap of faith, what divine shows me is that I got my first client even before I formed the company. We form an LLC, there's a lot of paperwork. There was months in process. Yeah. And I just put my name out there. I say that, okay, here, I got a license, because you need to go to school to get the license. So now I can practice. I have my own company. Who is willing to give me a shot, right? And I still remember the first paycheck was $2,500. It was a small wedding gown showroom. And the owner, we just met at an event. She really liked my energy. She said that, whoa, why don't you come design my my wedding gown showroom? That was my first leap. Like, I wasn't worried. Like, if you are thinking about, oh, how do I make an income? How do I do this? How do I do that? No, I just trust. I'm like, I can't do anything anyways. So I need to heal myself anyways. So this is what I love to do. And let's see what happens. And then my first client showed up, and my first business, I wasn't on any social media at all. Like, I wasn't doing any promotion. It was just word of mouth. Then it was the client's sister, her house. And then her house becomes my showroom for other people. Oh, Helen can do this. You want her to come to do this? And then my career kind of evolved that way. Same with my art. It's because, a lot of my feng shui interior design clients saying that, oh, I really want like a custom drapery made based on my energy, because you are born in different feng shui elements. So can you custom design a pattern for me? That's when I started to, begin with my art. And of course, it was in me all these lifetimes. So for me, I'm a self-taught, so I did not go to art school for that. But I pick up my paint brushes. I mean, here I go. And those are all paintings behind me. So it kind of evolved that way until that point that I was fully awakened. When I tuned into spirit, I know that I am supposed to do something bigger. That's when I channeled the system, wrote a book with Hay House Publishing, and now it's available for pre-order.
Yeah. So So tell us about, so yeah, so let's go into this, the color wheel, because you've basically come up with a whole new system, kind of comparable to like another way of looking at a person's personality, soul, um, what they're here to do, kind of like human design or gene keys or, something like that. So tell
Mhm.
us how did this information start showing up? How did you discover this?
Right. It's like years in the simmering.
Uh-huh.
So beginning in 2019, when I begin to see spirits and aura colors, let me put it that way, perceive, you don't see it in your naked eye. It's all in the third eye.
Yeah.
So, and I begin to work with clients, one-on-one or small groups on energy healing and, finding their soul purpose and all that. And I've run this course called Flowing with Your Rainbow starting 2020. So it's been 5 years now. And I call them my guinea pigs.
Uh-huh.
So those are the transformational journey. So basically I bring, their soul's purpose back. It's similar to my personal suffering. They were doing something extremely unhappy and not what they are, what they're supposed to do. So, like from this practice, I personally have three mythical experience, I would say, or deep astral travel or channeling experience.
Mhm.
That I think one of them was my "What is my soul gift" meditation. It's well, right now I've been into this, hour long. It's not 10 minute, 20 minute anymore. It's like hour long or 90 minutes deep, theta meditation sessions. So
Mhm.
during one of those, I was tuned in to a Dandaran calendar. That's where it's very funny. It's actually in a temple in Egypt. I haven't physically been there personally, but I see a very vivid calendar on a temple in Egypt that was spinning. And
Mm.
on there was 36 original zodiacs. So and it's fascinating because later on when I Google it, I typically, because I'm very clairvoyant, so that's my main psychic ability. So and because of my art skills, I tend to draw them out. I drew or I paint what I seen in my images, and I image Google it. So I put in Google, upload the image,
Uh-huh.
tell me Google, what is this? And then they give me the information. It's actually a zodiac calendar in the Dendera temple, a Hathor temple in Dendera in Egypt.
Wow.
I was like, my whole body is goosebumps.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Those truths. As I'm talking about it right now, my whole body is having goosebumps right now.
yeah.
And it was brought back to that
Me too.
experience. I was like, wow, what is this? Right? Like that was the first scene that was sung. The whole process was over a year. It's not like immediate. I get all of this. So that was the first pick of this. And then there was a subsequent, because I've been into theta healing. So that subsequent experience was I met a spirit guide, which is my temporary guide. He shows up as I ask his name, who are you, what are you here to help me with, and things like that. I always do that.
Mhm.
And he told me that his name is Herbert Spencer. Now I have no idea what that means. I just know, I don't even know the full spelling, but that's how it sounds. So
Yeah.
I Google is the best friend sometimes. So after my meditation, I always Google it.
Yeah.
And he was dressed, I can tell it's England. I have a lot of past lives in the Britain.
Mhm.
And because of how he dressed, like
Mm.
17th 18th century or 19th century, something along that age, how he dressed, he looks like a philosopher.
Mhm.
Red drapes, like that type of dressing. And he told me that he's a British philosopher. So then he's going to help me write a book, and I should write a book on soul evolution. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, what is
Mm.
this? So when I Google it, and then I learn a little bit more about him. He is actually a guy who used Charles Darwin's evolution theory of human beings
Mhm.
on society and psychology. So he is the philosopher that applied the evolution theory on societies and philosophies. And he told me that he's coming here to help me write a book about soul evolution. And I'm like, wow, this is really, really interesting. So because of this mythical experience, I just keep digging, right? So I keep doing meditation, but I need to let go of the attachment. Every time if I attach to this, I want this, then it won't come. So I did not have any expectation of what I will receive. And the third mythical experience is that it was a cosmic star origin meditation. It was also a long one. I was traveling actually. So I was brought into I was landed on a planet, and then I was asked to look around, what is on the planet. Is there any color, things like that? I see a crab. So literally like crab, by the ocean, which you don't normally see on a planet, right? It was just crossing over. It was a turquoise type of color, like, the whole planet is turquoise. A crab was walking around, very rocky. That was the description I had. And of course I drew it out. And then I put it on Google image. And I saw a picture of Crab Nebula, and my whole body has the chills. Crab Nebula is just a remnant of a supernova explosion of a star in the Pleiades. And it's literally like the seven sister stars in the Taurus constellation. Oh my gosh, it hit home. I was having whole body chills. I was crying. I was also crying. I'm like, shit, this is my home. That was my home before I landed to planet Earth. So after these three experience, which I also wrote it on the book, the fourth time when I get into this state of astral travel, I begin to see the full system, that I channel the aura color wheel system, where I see a spinning wheel it's like color wheels, like painter, you use a color wheel. Was a color wheel spinning? So 12 colors, right, in a color wheel, and then with two tints. So like one is lighter than the other, one is lighter than the other. So becomes three shades of the same color, and it's spinning. And I see humans' souls. Your soul is in your heart chakra, so it's mainly, so they're spinning around the human heart where your soul is. And then so the person or the soul that has that particular gift, for example, if you're an artist, your orange and your third eye, your violet are stronger. So those two aura colors are stronger. And then if you have a wound, you have a particular wound, that color is weaker. It's almost like a crimson. If you put a crimson and going through like a white light and opens up, the crimson absorbs the weaker vibration color and reflect the brighter vibration color. And that's when the soul, that's when the soul aura comes out. So that's what the vibration or the energy every soul, each of us, vibrates. So after those four, sequence of mythical experience, that's when I started to channel the full system. Now, now it's easy because I channel it in a 20 question quiz where you can take and identify your soul aura color in 7 minutes. But during that channeling state, it's funny enough, I was sleeping a lot. Because in order to keep myself in theta state, so that's the state that I wasn't controlling anything, I just let spirit go through me. I actually need to be that in between. It's almost falling asleep, not asleep state. And my family, I'm lucky that I have a very supportive soul family. They know that my work, they just let me do whatever I want. So I wasn't eating or sleeping in a regular schedule. I drink a lot of water, but my food intake was not too much. Like, I eat occasionally, but, healthy food. So my body is clean. But most of the time I was sleeping. I'm not joking. Like most of the day I was sleeping. And it continues about a month, 4 to 6 weeks, and then the whole description of the 36 aura color is born. And also the quiz was born. I was channel writing, so it's automatic writing. I wasn't care about whether the grammar is correct, whether the words is correct. And sometimes if I cannot find words in English, I use a symbol, like I drew. I use my native language. I use Chinese. It's
Mm.
not like a writing a book. It's very different. So I'm just automatic writing until the whole thing flush out. And I
Mhm.
also drew out the interesting thing about this system, compared to the other system, is that it's very dynamic, because your soul aura color changes as your soul evolves, meaning that you can, change into a different archetypes. So what's cool about this system is that I drew out every single possible path how your soul can be the next step. For
Mm.
example, I was born in Tangerine, soul aura color. So I
Mm.
was an artist archetype. My wound is actually in the throat chakra. So for me, speaking up or not conform, born in a Chinese society, is not good, right? That's
Yeah.
why I'm wearing blue turquoise right now, like literally healing my wound right here, right?
Yeah.
But however, if you consciously doing spiritual practice like affirmation, sound baths, really good for the throat chakra, right? Really healing it, it becomes your strength. So you don't stay in that wound like forever your life. If
Mm.
you are really conscious, like I was conscious, I'm like, okay, I was having strep throat and nosebleed pretty much all my childhood. I
Mm.
know it's a physical symptom, right? So if you consciously heal it, it actually become your strength.
Mm.
Now I have no problem. Look, I'm having this interview, no problem. Like 10 years ago, if you ask me to do public speaking, I'm like, no, it's okay. It's not me. It's not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, what I love fascinating about this system is that you don't stay in one place all the time. As you grow, your soul grow, this becomes your strength. And now I'm combining my blue aura layer and my red aura layer, and I become a teacher, soul gift archetype. So like I'm more of a public speaking, doing teaching, and also entrepreneur. That's also need a strong, throat chakra to sustain that particular soul gift archetype. So
Mm.
that's the amazing part, and it's a little bit a long story, but I find it fascinating. And as I am sharing with you with you today,
Mhm.
my whole body still have the same goosebump, truth chills
Uh,
around that time. And the funny thing is, talking about letting the divine hold you, is that I have no idea at the time. I just know I need to write a book. Like
mm.
I wasn't. If people typically you write a book, you find an agent, you find publisher, and all that. I didn't do any of this. And one day I opened my email box. Hey House Writers Community email just dropped in my. I wasn't even subscribed to it, by the way. Like I don't even know how that email is in my inbox.
Huh.
Hey, we happen to have a writers community, and you are able to, submit a book proposal. If you want to publish your book for a competition, do you want to try? Hell yes. So that was how it's come to fruition.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you've said so much. I feel I think it's really important what you said, that we all have weaknesses, right? Like, and maybe we don't fully understand why. I mean, every person does. Like, it's
Yes.
inescapable. It's part of being human. You get to come to this planet and be born with certain strengths and certain weaknesses. Um, experience different lessons, and yeah, that your weaknesses, that's such a powerful statement, that your weaknesses can become your strength. I had a teacher that said that once. She said, your greatest weaknesses can become your greatest strengths.
Oh
And
yeah.
it really is true. And I think, and would you say that this, I mean, if you knew that your throat chakra was the weak point for you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
was it something so healing it, was it something that you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna heal this." Like, I'm
See,
gonna.
that's the masculine approach.
Right, yeah,
Remember,
right?
we we're
That's
talking
kinda.
about. Well, it's
Yeah,
the
so
balance. I like it. I like that, because you're conscious. You need to be conscious of it. that
Sure.
you know that you're working on it, but
Yeah.
at the same time you cannot attach to the outcome.
Mm.
Remember, like if you so attach, okay, in month 1 I'm healing this, in month 2 I'm done with this, in month 3, it's not happening that way. And by the way, this healing is continuously, like, because you can heal to a pretty good degree that you can sustain a longer period of time, you have no problem, you know, it's pretty strong. But when you when people like want to uphold multiple soul gift archetypes, which I see people, especially the ascended masters, they do all that. That's why they can manifest instantaneously. I'm talking about like Jesus Christ and Buddha. They can shape shift into any soul gift archetype at any certain point because they already work up all the aura layers. It's just pure white golden light, right? So so like if you heal it to a certain degree, yes, you can uphold a certain, you know, soul gift. But however, if your soul is ready to up level, like for example, now I know that, you know, my spirit guide is telling me that, okay, you are even need to, like, that's not enough. Just channeling wisdom is not enough. You need to get up and do public speaking. I just get another round of upgrade, and guess what? I had the first thing, strep throat. They're telling me that it's not like, but you're very aware of it. It's not like, okay, you know, oh, maybe the weather or something, because I'm aware of it, that I need to heal it another round to an even higher vibrational level to match up what I'm doing right now. The difference, I would say the main difference is conscious level or self-awareness level. If you are aware of it, first of all, it eliminates fear. So you're not worried. You know that this is coming up because this is something that I need to work on. Your soul tells you, hey, by the way, you need to up level this. And I'm okay, you know, I know I have tools. You know, I gather up tools that I had in the past that works for me, and the healing becomes shorter and shorter. So every time that you encounter, first of all, you don't have fear. Second of all, you know the tools that works for you. For example, some people, you know, sound vibration works very well, but the other people, maybe affirmation, like Louise Hay just healed her cancer just by doing affirmation, right? So it's like those are different tools for the throat chakra. So I list them all out in the book. So you can have, like, depends on which chakra you're healing, you have your personalized toolbox. Hey, I've tried this. Some people like crystal healing. Some people like, hey, I drink crystal water. It seems, you know, it works for me. So every single time when you encounter that particular thing, you just write it down, as I call it, your spiritual toolbox. So as your soul grows, every time when you know, you're aware of it, like, you know, your solar plexus chakra, you know when it's out of balance, and then you can self-heal. I would say that is more of raise your personal awareness in your conscious level, instead of like, I have a pet plan, you know, week 1 I do red aura, week 2 I do, you know, like certain things. It's just like when circumstance arise, you know what you're dealing with. Just like I wasn't prepared that I need a upgrade on my orange aura layer, because it was my strength, you know, creativity is always my strength. And I actually just healed my inner child in December at a conference, at a spiritual entrepreneur conference. I wasn't prepared, or I say that I'm, you know, aware of it, but it was just came spontaneously during a meditation that, you know, oh, my inner child needs healing now. She's crying, she's screaming at me, right? And then, but you're okay. You know, in the past that I have these tools to do emotional channeling, like, you know, to detox my emotional state, so I'm not supercharged or make, you know, irrational decisions at the time, like big decisions at a time and things like that. It's just, I would say it's just like self-awareness. So the whole book or the whole system, it's about raising your awareness that you are, you know, not afraid of anything anymore. Even when cancer comes, actually one of my, actually many, a few of my clients who actually had, I don't know why, it just divine comes it that way, pancreatic cancer, first stage. yellow aura soul wound. That's where your pancreas located. It can be, in physical, mental. I have mental, right? And spiritual. And literally, she does the exact, like the formula I laid out in the book for the yellow aura wound. She did that for 18 months. When she went back to the doctor, cancer's gone. Now she's cancer free. I wrote this story inside. It's the power, I would say, of soul healing. So it heals from a soul level. It's not from a symptom level, because modern medicine, they give you a treatment to repress the symptom. For example, I have a sore throat. They numb your throat. It's not numbing. Yes, you stop the symptom, but it's not curing, right? Curing requires much, much deeper.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, we all born with a wound, but it's okay. Like if we know that, this is our wound, we're just consciously aware of it and keep working on it, we will get better and better at it. So it's just awareness. Same thing with our gifts. I still remember Jesus has a saying that it's like, what you don't bring forth in you will destroy you. So if you really have that gift inside of you, like, I'm here to make the world a more beautiful and happier place. If I'm not bringing that inside of me, it was killing me, right? It was like, I wasn't happy. How can you be happy? It's to do the exact thing you're born here to do. So that actually helps a lot of imposter syndrome. Like a lot of my students who are artists, they have imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? Am I here to do, like, oh, is it going to be starving? I'm an artist. Am I going to be starving? Right. And all of these doubts. But if you know that, oh, I was born this way. This is my soul gifts. I'm supposed to do this. It also eliminates the imposter syndrome. If I knew, I told people, if I knew when I went to college that I'm a damn artist, I won't waste it all these years to go all the way to PhD and then figure out I was supposed to do art, right? It's the same thing. And a lot of my artist clients now, they're really happy. They're making even more than enough because they were just embodying exactly what they're here to do. So from a soul standpoint, like although, each of us has a different mission, soul mission in this lifetime, but generally, what is your soul purpose? The book answers that. Is literally to embody your soul gifts, so you're happy, consciously healing your soul wounds, but there is no deadline. When it comes, you heal it, and then learning your soul lessons. So the soul lessons are less they are less deep as the wound. Wound is like, to pretty much extreme. That means that you just haven't healed that for lifetimes. It can be ancestral trauma, past life trauma, or in the collective wounds, right? It has nothing to do with the individual soul. So those are a little bit deeper. But lessons can be your limited beliefs. You just want to replay it over and over again in your head, and one day you just want to stop and make a decision. I don't want these limiting beliefs anymore. Or it can be your inner child healing. You just have some childhood trauma specific to this lifetime, not a repeating pattern, many lifetimes, maybe just this lifetime. Then you decided to heal your inner child, and you incorporate some shadow work. We all have some shadows, and that's okay. And if you are, accepting it, you have self-compassion, those can be changed, a little bit. I won't say like much easier, but those are the lessons that you still need to learn this lifetime. And eventually, that's the sole purpose for everybody. Like, you have your own lesson, I have my own lesson. But at the end of the day, how we can be happy is literally be who you are. So be of service that way, heal your wounds, and learn your soul lessons. That's how our soul evolve to the next level.
Right. And what I see is like, it's really about breaking out of this imposed matrix, so it's what I was hearing, and I think a lot of people fall into this, myself included, is that we find ourselves chasing after money, thinking like, oh, if I want to have money so I can be comfortable, so then I can pursue the things that
Yes.
we want. Um, you just don't get there. It just doesn't come. I have a dear friend that always says, you don't chase after the money. You do what you love. And that's so hard for us to hear. Like there is a block there. It's like, oh no, it can't be that easy, you know? But it's really true when you are in your soul purpose and you're working with the strengths that you have, things just flow, right? Like you're in the flow. You're not forcing, you're not trying to be somebody that you're not, which is
Yeah.
excruciatingly painful.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a fire path to depression and anxiety. You know, it's trying to live a lie. And so yeah, it sounds like this working with your aura color is really a way to find your authentic self.
Right. I really like that you raised a great point, because I was struggling at the beginning as well. It's like, because at the goal, the society, or how we raise up is like money, status, or like, I don't know, a great marriage. Okay. Like they put you in the mold. That's like the perfect life.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, if you don't have money yet, you started to worry, almost like a collective anxiety putting on you, that okay, now I need to, really figure out how I'm going to survive and things like that. Now I want to put it out there. It was a really, really great point. Like for people who initiate this path, like how can I have the courage? Yeah, Helen, you sound easy, right? Like how do you do it, right? How do you actually do it? I have two questions for people who jump on similar, this struggle. Is that okay? If just say if, okay, you're already a billionaire, money is not an issue. You have more than enough. You cannot even spend it all of it. Okay, so it's like it's not, and you're perfectly healthy. So basically, in an ideal case scenario, now you have everything you need. It's funny enough that my husband and I was in a point like that point, but we were not happy. Neither of us were deeply happy because we were not pursuing our soul's purpose. You see the difference? So imagine you are there. Okay, now the question is, what are you doing? Tell me that if you have more than enough money, tell me that if you are, like you just like you don't need to worry about a thing in life. What were you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I damn tell you that I'm still painting. I'm still teaching meditation. I'm still dancing flamenco. And yes, I will travel in luxury, right? Because I have the means. But it doesn't mean that I cannot travel with, without, enough. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still doing this. I'm still doing this. That's when it really tells me that that's what you are supposed to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why do you have to wait until you have become a billionaire and in order to do all of these, right? So that's like you're sacrificing your happiness for what you're supposed to do. That's the first question I would like someone to actually think it through, not just by, oh yeah, yes, you will buy a few houses, you will buy a few cars, fine. And then at the end of it, you will find if you're completely empty if you don't do something, right? Like
Right.
like people like retire, okay, like I don't have any responsibility. What are you doing then, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're starting a garden, I don't know, maybe like something.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that I want everyone to realize, once you're tuning the quantum field, I'm sure you notice that, is that we're all one. At the end of the day, it's the truth. I don't want to lie. No matter you can tune in or not, you and I have no separation at a soul level, at a vibration level. We are source consciousness. They are us, Saddam.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all connected. So you do not live in a vacuum. So you do not live in a vacuum. So there are souls. That's why we call it soul family and star families. We are here collectively to help each other to rise into our soul's purpose. Okay, so I would tell them, like, for example, I wouldn't be able to do it without my husband's support. Like, if we're married, we're raising a family, we both have responsibilities, but he supported me through and through because he was one of the soul family members. I've known him for, like, I don't know, so many lives. Now he is not like into spirituality at all, but it doesn't like it doesn't diminishing him supporting me to do what I want to do, right?
Right.
I'm sure like it doesn't have to be a husband and wife. I'm sure in your life, because we're all connected at a soul level. Now I'm not talking about toxic relationships, okay? It doesn't have to be a family member. Sometimes you just met someone, just like I share with you, Tanya, that I really like your energy. Like, although like we haven't met before, we just connected on Facebook. I'm like, because we are soulful people, your soul recognize another soul. You know that you've been together for I don't know how many lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people. That's why community, but meaningful communities are important for you to hop on. I was on I don't know how many courses when I was on the spiritual journey. I wasn't alone. I was in a yoga meditation teacher training. I was with other 20 souls who were also lost and have no idea what the heck they're going to do. We are like, teacher, show us what to do, right? I wasn't even spiritual at the time, right? I was crying all the time, and they are like holding me like a baby. And I was the baby in the group, to be honest. They were much older than me. I'm like, wow, what is this crazy woman doing it here, right? So it's okay, because once you go through it, so many souls has holding you. Now I feel like I want to contribute, like I want to help others to do the same. So I want you to know that you're never alone, because when you're depressed, you really feel like you're always alone. That's how I felt. I knew it really strongly. So with these two, some of my clients have some perspective. Oh, even though I have a Ferrari, even though I have a mansion, I'm actually still doing this, huh? I didn't notice that. I'm still doing this. Then why can't I? It's simple. Why can't I just pick up my paintbrush? Why can't I just dance? Why can't I just do this already, right? And the second thing is that, oh, actually, I do have that friend that actually who supports me. Like for when I started to sell art, like write off art, it's friends and family. It's word of mouth. And when your artwork is hanging in their house, people look at it, oh, I kind of like that. I want a commission from this. And that's how you started. And don't give these, I think nowadays, this social media and all this facade, the appearance makes it look like, okay, I need to do posts on social media all the time. No, it's about actually connecting, connecting at a soul level, right? Like having conversations like this, showing your true self authentically, telling people your message. And I'm here, like writing this book, to be honest, like I'm not thinking about I will become rich and famous. I am really here on a mission to help as many souls as possible to rise. So when one soul rise, I always have this vision. This is another vision, that everyone, like a light bulb, like a bowl of light, right, rising up, all of us, million souls, multi-million souls. It's like a huge light bulb. We light up the world. That's my mission, and I'm doing this. And the crazy thing is, I know abundance is going to come out of it. I actually know. I'm not yeah, you and Divine says yes, right? I actually, you and know. And I know, all kinds of earthly realm things is going to come from this. But it's this is called the divine feminine way of attracting. You manifest because you attract. And it's not because, okay, I have this itinerary, I want to become a millionaire, and let's see, what sells. Okay, Amazon product sells today. Let's do Amazon. Tomorrow, Google, maybe AI works. Let's do AI. Okay, if you like to do AI, go ahead, right? If that's your passion, go ahead. But I'm a living example of people, like, you just need to do it. Like, you will attract abundance, and opportunities will open up, and sometimes synchronicities will open up, as long as you're passionate about it. And it might take a little bit of time, but it works.
That's right. Oh, that's right. I'm just Myrna from A Life Design Team Coaching, she said, "What a beautiful message, Helen. You're not crazy." Laugh, laugh.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, like if people resonate with the message,
Yeah.
even just one soul at a time, you're changing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, at the beginning of my business stage, you don't need that much. You just need a few clients. Literally, you just need that a few clients. You can sustain on a, like food. I have plenty of sunshine. I have air. I mean, I'm really grateful for all that I have.
Yeah.
And I want to just put it out there. My husband and I had a lifestyle. We had like multi-million. His business reaches really good, exited, like didn't went IPO but bought out by another company. We were in the startup stage. I want to let you know that I was there.
Mm.
But neither of us were happy because
Yeah.
we are not like, we have cars, we have mansions, we have like, so what? I'm just telling you that that's like a facade, Yeah, I can make some YouTube videos, showing off how much money I have, but neither of us are happy. And guess what we do? We get rid of everything. We get rid of everything.
Yeah.
We're still doing the exact same thing that we like to do today.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's so inspiring. And I love that so much. I mean, yes, it's like your purpose is communicating to you all the time. When you're in your joy, whatever it is you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter the form. You can be in your purpose in many different ways, throughout the day. And just noticing, okay, what is lighting me up? What feels good? But I just want to ask one more question before we close.
okay.
So the Aura Color Wheel book, I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious, in that book, do you give certain exercises or things that people can do to cultivate and strengthen their aura, that kind of a thing?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm very practical. As you can see, because I'm not born woo, so I'm like,
Right.
I'm not born so that's why, I'm very down to earth, and they are like short wings, something that you can practice immediately. I lay it out, every single aura layer, for all the soul aura colors, the practices you can do. I also have guided meditations. For those of you who order the book, you will have a guided meditation, a journal prop that I make it into a PDF. The journal prop is inside the book, but I also make it into a PDF, so that way you can download it and write down, like do automatic writing right after the meditation.
Mhm.
And if you actually pre-order it now, there is a private Facebook group called the Aura Color Wheel Circle that I can help you. Basically, you can ask me questions anytime. And I also occasionally go live in the group to do spirit message readings. So telling you who are your spirit guides, what are the messages for you right now. So it's a great, kind of like a great support if you want to go along with the book. And since we just passed the Lunar New Year, I also threw it out there for whoever pre-ordered the book. They get a free Fengshui birth element and Gua number reading. Typically, it costs $150. So if you reply my email, just tell me your birth information. I will tell you your personal birth element and Gua number, so that way you know exactly how to Feng Shui your home.
Awesome. Wow. So many gifts, Helen, that you have. So everyone, so if people go to Amazon.com and just type in the Aura Color Wheel, they'll find the book to pre-order.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Aura Color Wheel, I think it comes out on the second, because the first was literally a color wheel. But the subtitle of the book is what your soul aura reveals, your soul gifts, wounds, and lessons. So literally, that's the essence of your soul. That's what you're here to do.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like as a living example, and I have like more than 100 students that you're welcome to talk to, using the same system, who has transformed their life, who have manifested abundance, love, health, everything that you can imagine that you are tracing. They just attracting. So that's the difference, as a walking example. And I'm still using it till the day, like on myself.
Yeah, you're walking your talk. Yeah,
that's right.
Helen, this has been so amazing. I just love you so much. You have so much positivity and just grateful that you're here. I also just wanted to point out or ask you if people want to work with you one-on-one, just go to helencreatesbeauty.com and they can connect with you there if they want to go deeper or receive coaching from you or healing and those kind of
Right. Well, because now I'm a little bit more, I'm a little bit busier, so I don't like the one-on-one coaching. I'm not opening like all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I do have a course coming up that I'm going to launch end of March, that you can order, and inside the course I have group coaching. So that's one option. And
Mm.
then my signature program is called the Flowing with the Rainbow. The door only opens once a year because that's how much I can handle, because I
Wow.
really want to handheld you to go through this transformation process with me. And that opens in September. So in March you have like a smaller dose of the course and group coaching, but in September that's when the big enrollment drops, where
Right.
I teach that course live, so it wasn't pre-recorded. I literally can see face. I can tell you exactly what you need to work on right now because when I see people's face, I can see auras and spirit guides. So that's why I like to teach course live as well.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Very cool. Um,
Thank you.
all right. Well, we have to say goodbye and close this for now. Again, those of you that are watching, let us know. Write down replay if you're watching the replay. Post your comments. Helen will be happy to answer those comments. Join her Facebook group. And yeah, and until next time, have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, Helen, for being here,
Yeah.
for
Thank
sharing.
you for doing this for other light workers. Thank
Yeah,
you again.
awesome. All right,
Thank
much
you.
love, everyone. Bye
Yeah.
for now.
Bye.